Good evening, students. Today we are in session 10 of Introduction to English Studies Unit 2. The topic of this video is critical reading of short paragraphs. This session gives a detailed analysis of what is critical reading, its benefits, and the process involved in critical reading. Critical reading is an essential skill. It involves analyzing and evaluating a text to understand the meaning deeply. One of the key aspects of critical reading is identifying the main idea and supporting details. It is an active and analytical approach to understand a text. It goes beyond a simple comprehension and evaluate the author's arguments and look for the evidence given by the author. It involves questioning the text, considering its context, and forming your own informed interpretations. The main idea is the central point or message the author wants to convey. Critical reading answers the question, what is this text mainly about? How to identify the main point in the given text? It is usually found in the first or last sentence of a paragraph. It summarizes the overall points of the passage. The main topic means the general idea that includes all supporting details. The key aspects of critical reading are active engagement. Active engagement means not just passive observation of information. It requires action, that is, questioning the text, questioning the author's intentions, the validity of the argument that is presented in the text. Thus, critical reading involves analysis and evaluation. Critical readers usually analyze the text structure, identify the main points, supporting points, evidence given, and evaluate the strength of the arguments. The main purpose of critical reading is to highlight the argument given in the text. The tips for critical reading are: underline or highlight the key phrase while reading. Ask questions as you read. What is the author's point? What enhances this supporting details for it? Please try to highlight these points. Summarize each paragraph in your own words. Look out for signal words like in summary, the most important point is, primarily. These phrases will be given in the text. Please look for these phrases, and some signals will be like, for example, such as, in addition. They all are giving hints about supporting details. The main point of critical reading is to identify these main ideas. It involves looking into the main ideas given in the text, that is, active analysis, and evaluating a text, questioning its claims, and framing informed judgments. It is not just accepting the information, whatever is given at its face value. It's about engaging with the text on a deeper level. So it also includes evaluating the author's purpose, the author's biases, and identifying the target audience, assessing the evidence presented, and considering any alternative interpretations if there are. So contextualization plays a very important role in critical reading. It means understanding the historical, social, and cultural context in which the text was written, which is crucial for deeper understanding. Another key element of critical reading is questioning assumptions. Critical readers always question the author's assumptions, his biases, as well as their own assumptions and biases as readers, forming interpretations. After reading the text and questioning its assumptions, the reader has to come to a conclusion. He has to form his own interpretations about the understanding of the text rather than simply accepting the author's viewpoint. Some of the strategies for developing critical reading skills are surveying the text. To survey the text means examining the author and the sources of the text. Who wrote the text? Is the author an expert in the field? Do they have any potential biases that might influence their perspective? What is the source of the text? Is it a reputable academic journal, a news article from a biased source, or is it a blog post? So, searching for all these details is surveying the text. When was the text published? Is the information current and relevant, or is it outdated? So, this has to do about the surveying the text. So, after once the reader surveys the text, regarding surveying the text, there we can give one example. When reading a research article about climate change, a critical reader would consider the author's affiliations. That is the author part of a fossil fuel company or an environmental organization, and the journal's reputation to assess the potential for bias. Then we have to identify the author's purpose and who are the readers. What is the author's main goal in writing this text? Are they trying to inform, persuade, entertain, or is there any hidden idea? What is the intended audience for this text? Is it a targeted audience like academics or general public or specific group of people? For example, a political campaign advertisement aims to persuade voters to support a particular candidate. A critical reader would recognize the persuasive nature of the ad and analyze the techniques used to influence opinions. So, all this is based on asking questions. You have to constantly question the text, the author, and your own understanding of the text. So, the text has to be analyzed and its claims and the evidence given have to be questioned. What are the main arguments made in the text? What evidence is provided to support these claims? Is the evidence strong, weak, or irrelevant? Are there any logical fallacies or weakness in the reasoning? For example, if a text claims that a particular diet is the key to weight loss, a critical reader would examine the scientific evidence presented. For example, the studies referred to, the statistics given, to determine if the claim is supported by a reliable data. So, some of these strategies will help you to develop critical reading skills. Sometimes you have to consider alternative interpretations. Are there other possible ways to interpret the information presented in the text? How does the text relate to your own knowledge and experience? Does your personal experience support or contradict the claim made in the text? Like that. For example, when reading a historical document, a critical reader might consider different perspectives on the events described, including those of the marginalized groups who may have been excluded from the historical narrative. So the search or the survey continues. A critical reader always evaluates the text strength and weaknesses. What are the strong points of the text? Are there any valuable insights or fresh perspective? What are the weaknesses of the text? Are there any logical fallacies, unsupported claims, or biases like that? So, whenever you begin to read the text, highlight all these points, mark these key passages, or raise these questions, and make notes in the margin to engage actively with the text. Whatever you have learned, whatever questions you have answered, write it down, paraphrase, or summarize it. You restate the text ideas in your own words so that comprehension is ensured. Consider different perspectives from which the text could be analyzed. Explore how different audience might interpret the text related to the prior knowledge. Connect the text to your understanding or to the existing knowledge and experience. Evidence must be evaluated. You have to assess the strength and relevance of the evidence presented or these claims of the author. What evidence is provided to support the author's claims that has to be evidenced. So, a critical reader might evaluate a news article on a scientific discovery by considering the clarity of the writing, the quality of the evidence presented, and the potential for alternative interpretations of the research findings. So, there are different examples. A critical reader might evaluate a scientific analysis, a diet chart, or a political advertisement, or a research article. So, critical reading can be involved about any type of text. So, what are the benefits of critical reading? Critical reading improves comprehension. It helps you to understand the text at a deeper level. It enhances the memory. Active engagement with the text leads to better retention of information. A critical reader develops strong analytical skills. He hones his ability to analyze arguments and he makes informed decision making. It enables one to form well reasoned opinions and informed judgments. Critical reading also improves writing skills. So, by understanding how arguments are constructed, you can improve your own writing. Critical reading is essential for conducting effective research and developing your own ideas. Dear students, critical reading is an active way of reading. It is a deeper and more complex engagement with the text. It is a process of analyzing, interpreting, and sometimes evaluating. When we read critically, we use critical thinking skills to question the text and also our own reading of different disciplines like scientific texts, philosophical or literary texts, etc. Here is a table wherein the details regarding the difference between reading and critical reading is given. So, the purpose of reading is to just get a basic grasp of the text, whereas in critical reading, the purpose is to form judgments about how the text works. Normal reading, the activity involved is just absorbing and understanding, whereas in critical reading, the activity involved is analyzing the text, interpreting, and evaluating. It's a much more complex skill, not just reading. The focus of reading is just on what the text says, whereas in critical reading, the focus is on what the text does and what it means. While reading, we just ask question like what is the text saying. Whereas when reading it critically, we will ask these type of questions. What information can I get out of it? How does the text work? How is it argued? What are the choices made? And what are the patterns involved in the text? What kind of reasoning and evidence are used? What are the basic assumptions? What does the text mean? So, there are multiple questions involved in critical reading, unlike just in reading. So, the direction of reading is with the text. It agrees what the text says. It takes for granted that whatever the text says is right. Whereas in critical reading, the reader goes against the text. So he questions its assumptions and arguments and interpreting the meaning in his own context. The response for reading is just summary or restatement, whereas in critical reading, the final response can be description, interpretation, evaluation, and coming into an idea which is not in the text, which may be out of the text, extending to further contexts and situations. Okay, then how to prepare for critical reading? What should be done to prepare for critical reading? There are two steps. How can you develop critical reading skill? The first step is self reflection. That is, what experiences, assumptions, knowledge, and perspectives do you bring to the text? What biases might you have? Are you able to keep an open mind and consider others' point of view? So you begin with these self reflections. You ask these questions for yourselves after reading the text. Then you are in the process of critical reading. The next step is to read to understand. Reading means to examine the text and the context both. Who is the author? Who is the publisher? Where and when was it written? What kind of text is it? What is the context in which the text is placed? So, if you ask these questions, the answers given will help you to understand the text. You skim the text. You use this reading strategy of skimming. What is the topic? What are the main ideas? And then you try to resolve any confusions related. Look up unfamiliar words or terms in dictionaries or glossaries. Go over difficult passages to clarify them. The process of reading critically has a process. The first thing that is involved in this process is to think critically. Thinking critically means analysis, interpretation, and evaluation. All this process helps you to interact with the text in different ways. The process of critical reading involves highlighting important points and examples, taking notes, testing answers to your questions, brainstorming, outlining the text, describing aspects of the text or argument, reflecting on your own reading and thinking, raising objections to the ideas or evidence presented, etc. These processes help you to read the text and understand it critically. Such a skill is very much essential for further higher studies. In post graduations, the text will be given and the student has to analyze them critically. Dear students, I hope you have understood the topic of critical reading, the process involved in critical reading, and the benefits of critical reading. In the next video, we will look into close reading, another type of reading which is very much essential for you to write paragraphs and essays. As of now, thank you.